And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, you sure how things had changed. One of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight racing. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, what am I going to do? He said, come down here in the basement where mechanics, where all the pool filter is. You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. I said, you kidding me? He said, no, if you don't come back. And he was right. So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And they had, those days, you used to remember the straight race. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And I looked at them, but I was smart then. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you to get off the board, you get off the board, I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you. Esther Williams, I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, you apologize to me? I said, I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said. He said, okay, close the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again.
So stupid, so stupid. Thank you, thank you.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
But you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody. Retweet. I'll put it out there. Retweet. I'll put it out there. Retweet. I'll put it out there. Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody. Retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is
and by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is
incredible.
Sort of what
and you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
Unbelievable.
That the most potent force in the Republican Party is President Trump. We need Trump plus. That the most potent force in the Republican Party is President Trump. We need Trump plus.
They felt pretty comfortable after day 2.
I admit to always improving.
Everybody digging my chili, what I'm laying down, that is not
true.
Honestly, Sam, if I could just get this sentence out, we can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint when they thought about it, because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If they fool me, we can't get fooled again.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about Hunter?
hell.
Are you talking about
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about me.
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad, I'm about to be 30, I'm about to be 30, I'm about to be 34 and I have no family.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Hello, users, and welcome to another shocking that it's happening episode of Above It All. We are here once again. Yeah, so we're here. That's it. That's all I got. So thank you for watching. Hello, everyone. So let me give a good old roll call. Hello, S. Hello, Coco. Hello, About to Sleep, ZZZ. Hello, Simon Says. Hello, Lined Say Rob. Hello, Joe Chen Spalding. Hello, Bob. Hello, Fox in the Snow. Hello, Matt Few Tulip. Hello, Re-Alan N. Hello, Krista Parkour. Hello, Kentucky Fried Space Comrade. Hello, Chokin' on Ashes 6-1. Hello, Nick Lass Nord Lund. Hello, Jeff Re Bar Ois. Hello, Myla Rason. Hello, Guinea. Hello, Bonjo Dave. Hello, Top Dame Age Wizard. Hello, Wit Space Shunt. Hello, G Wolf No Space 333. Hello, Dead Men. Dead Men. Excellent. Hello, Hunter says, DM me feedbacks. Please, for the love of God, Hunter. Please, hit me up. You know where to reach me. Hello, Joni Gazebo. Hello, Bob Kermody. Hello, Joshua Keese. Hello, Carla Curley. Hello, Zero Pain Elemental. Alright. What an incredible list of people.
Unbelievable.
Alright, folks. Alright. So, yeah, okay, I guess we should start off with what happened yesterday. So let me, because of course I don't have this set up whatsoever. So let me set this up. Let me set the stage here. I'm setting the stage. The stage is currently being set. Wait a second. Wait. All right, the stage was set. All right. Hello, Hook. Hello, Matt. What's up? All right. Okay. So yesterday, big tech, fueled by the woke mob, decided to censor my free speech. So yesterday I was in the middle of streaming a Senate hearing, and big tech censorship struck again, folks.
Unbelievable.
So in the middle of my stream, actually it was right at the tail end. It was like literally 5 minutes away from the end of the stream. Like I was about to finish. We are at closing remarks. I get a notification. Someone says, someone being YouTube itself says, it looks like you're broadcasting other people's content. So my first thing is, okay, is the camera setup that I'm using copywritten by like fucking CNBC or something? Because that doesn't make any sense. Quite frankly, it's
unbelievable.
So then I check my email, right? So I'm on my, right? So I'm checking my cell phone, right? And then I see, oh wow, look, it's my cell phone. So then I'm looking at my email, and then in the email, it says, this is actually what it says. It's right here. So in the email, it says, we've detected content in your live stream that may belong to someone else and was not corrected following repeated warnings. Now, again, repeated what?
Unbelievable.
So clearly I didn't get any warnings. If like a YouTube admin were to have come into my stream and said, hey bud, you're streaming something you don't own, I'd like you to turn it off right now, I'd be like, all right, sure, I disagree, but whatever. But I got no warnings. So it said, following repeated warnings of possible abuse, you may not have intended to include this content, but live stream should be actively monitored. Yeah, it should be. Yes, by humans, no less, right? So, then, as you can see here, I got the policy. Usually it will tell you the specific policy. This time, all it did was say community guidelines, which
unbelievable.
Doesn't really make any sense, right? But then I get a message saying that from the viewer's perspective, the video was removed for spam, deceptive practices, and scams.
Unbelievable.
So I don't know what that means. So this is the first time I've ever had a YouTube issue where it gives you a different reason at every step. So I was stealing someone else's content following repeated warnings that did not exist. Then it was just community guidelines. So you'd think, oh, stealing someone else's content is a copyright violation. No. So it was, first I stole someone's content, then I broke the rules of the community guidelines, then I was deceiving people and practicing in scams. Really bizarre stuff. Right? And then I submitted an appeal. And you know what they did? They declined to even read it.
Unbelievable.
Right? So I tweeted this out, and then eventually YouTube responds. I forget which tweet they responded to. Let me get that set up real quick. But as you can tell, this whole situation is quite frankly a little bizarre. So again, why even bother, as far as YouTube is concerned, why even bother with having an appeal process if the only way you can get it to be appealed is by complaining on Twitter? So as you can see here, confirming that this was a mistake. We've reinstated your video and removed the strike. Well, if that's the case, right, if that is the case, why did you decline the appeal? Like, why did you say, sorry, we've reviewed it carefully. Look at this. Where's the word? We've reviewed your content carefully and have confirmed it violates our... What?
Unbelievable.
So you're telling me you reviewed a 4-hour live stream carefully within less than 4 hours, right? And then you confirmed that it violates the guidelines without saying which guideline it violated. It just says it violates the guidelines, right? And then a couple hours later, you just tweet out, oops, we made a mistake.
Unbelievable.
Like, I seriously, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, the appeal process should be where you actually review things, like, actually carefully. It shouldn't be a situation where you have to complain on Twitter to get some random person that's working for YouTube support that day to, like, look into it. It's bizarre, it's strange, And again, quite frankly, it's
unbelievable.
But it looks like we're sorted out, so that's good. Yeah, so that's it. That's the segment. One more.
Unbelievable.
God damn it. Why is it always guidelines and not girled lines? That's a good question, Kentucky Fried Space Comrade. Hello, Felix Cornelius. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Sonic the Hedgehog. Goodbye. Hello, Cloud. What's up? Is that the same t-shirt from yesterday? Damn right it is. What do you think, I leave the house? I don't leave the house, bitch. I louse around in bed all day, motherfucker. You think I'm gonna change my clothes every single day? Who am I trying to impress here? Who am I trying to impress? Do I need to like do extra laundry and waste precious water? Precious water and electricity washing my clothes every day? I don't think so. Quite frankly, to suggest that.
Unbelievable.
There's a 5-centimeter big bee looking at me. That's incredible. I can't remember my password for the YouTube account I have, and it's kind of important. It's very difficult to get a retrieval. Oof. Well, this is why I write everything down. What's up, Radler? Just want to remind everyone that there are legit execution videos on YouTube, and people get strikes and demonetized for saying the F word. Yeah. I left the house to get a vaccine before Meghan McCain. Oh, fuck. How was this morning's episode of Good Morning Comrade, Jeffrey? Reminder, folks. Follow, not Jeffrey, but there's like an account that they don't use in the chat room. I know, it's ridiculous. How are you gonna clout chase if you're not using the same account everywhere? But so these numbnut motherfuckers are streaming before my show. So if, let's say you wake up and it's like 9:12 and you're like, oh, I wonder what I could possibly be doing right now. You could be watching Good Morning Comrade, except on the weekends because they're lazy pieces of shit.
Unbelievable.
My God. I'm sorry. Hey, Hook. YouTube fucks you over so much.
Unbelievable.
I love it. I'm so sorry. I hope it's funny. If it's not funny, then I apologize. But, fuck me. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, that's all I have planned for today. I didn't intend on streaming today. I'm just kidding, motherfucker. You thought that this was going to be a 15-minute show? Just kidding, motherfucker. It's not. But we got to get into some serious shit. Some serious ass motherfucking shit. In fact, it's so serious that I forgot to write it down in my notepad, so I have to go get it real quick. It's that serious. All right. Yeah, there you go. Follow Good Morning Comrade. Mike is a little bit quiet. First of all, who's Mike? Second of all, yeah, the sound clip is way too loud on purpose. Third of all, Coinbase is trending. What's going on? Whoa. Alright, so I'm going to be talking about Glenn motherfucking fuckface pretty soon here. No. No, there's no way this motherfucker did what I think he did. So yeah, Glenn Greenwald had a little bit of a meltdown. I'm trying to find where it starts, but this guy tweets so goddamn much. Holy shit. This guy, like, I'm just scrolling through this guy's feed, but, like, here we go. Alright, so this dumb bitch motherfucker. Cringe base. Cringe base. Cringe base. Oh. Did he delete tweets? Is that possible? No, he didn't. Okay, of course not. Sometimes, you know, Twitter does that thing. Alright, so Glenn Greenwald, whom I know that as you've clicked on this video, you're already furious. You're triggered so much, Glenn Greenwald fanboy, that you're already in the comments. How dare you? He's a paragon of virtue, and it's, I get it. Post your comments, dislike the fucking video, go away. But now, for those of you that are actually interested in the content, so Glenn Greenwald posted this dumb garbage yesterday. Some really fascinating findings in this big new Gallup survey on Americans identifying as, quote, LGBT. Why is LGBT in quotes? I don't know! It should lead to lots of deeper investigations to understand what explains some of these astronomical changes. But for now, a few points to note. Now, first of all, spoiler alert, more people are identifying as queer because it's more accepted in society and people are less likely to be killed. Again, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, if you came out as gay, you know what would happen? You would be fucking shot to death in a fucking alley and thrown into a river. Okay? So to claim that, oh, there's an astronomical increase already on its face. By the way, Glenn Greenwald's a gay guy in Brazil. But anyway, there's been a huge explosion in the number of Americans identifying as LGBT, not in quotes this time. Close to 1 out of every 5 Gen Z so identifies, 17%. That's more than a 4-fold increase from Gen X, 4%. But almost all of this increase comes from those identifying as bi or trans, not gay or lesbian. First of all, the lesbian statistic has nearly doubled, but that's not important right now. The lesbian statistic doubling, I sleep. The transgender statistic going up a smaller percentage, oh no! Right, so, now, again, the other thing here is, bisexual people, right? Come on, let's be honest. Like, people have been bisexual for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You look at shit like in Rome and Greece and shit, and they made statues of men fucking each other and, like, you know, bitches, like, draining titty milk all over the place. Like, those people were horny as hell. But you're telling me, for whatever reason, history doesn't matter. Examining other cultures besides America doesn't matter whatsoever. There's lots of cultures right now where plenty of the population are at least bisexual, right? So you're telling me that's all irrelevant. Like, we're only going to examine America here, and that's why this is an important thing? Again, it's almost like people are not as likely to be shot in an alleyway and thrown into a dumpster for coming out as trans or gay or whatever, right? But again, Glenn is trying to spin this as like some sort of, oh, the kids are being infected. Oh, the kids. Keep in mind, Glenn is gay, so. Of Americans now claiming, quote, what is with Glenn Greenwald and putting everything in quotations? You know what that's so bizarre. It's like, now they claim to be bi. What? Like, the vast majority of them are in long-term relationships, are in opposite sex relationships, 33%. Wait, the vast majority is 33%? Rather than same-sex ones, 3.6. First of all, the word there would be plurality, not majority. But, okay, rather than same-sex ones. So 10 times more people who identify as bi live in hetero-appearing relationships than gay or lesbian ones. I've got news for you, right? Again, more people are becoming more comfortable with their sexuality. Less men are like, oh, if I find that man attractive, I'm gonna get beaten by my daddy, right? Like, less men fear that. So, like, let's say you're watching a movie with your wifey, right? And then some, like, fucking hot guy comes on screen, and then, like, you know, you're like, damn, bitch, he's attractive, right? You know, like, that's like, seriously, the idea that Glenn Greenwald is so puzzled by this concept. He's so puzzled. It's just, to be quite honest, it's
unbelievable.
I just don't understand, right? But he goes on. Finally, as famed lesbian Kitty Perzog notes, first of all, what is a famed lesbian? What? A famed, what kind? So this motherfucker puts LGBT in quotes, puts bi in quotes, but doesn't put famed lesbian in quotes. This guy is saying bi people are kind of sus, LGBT people, I'm not sure about that, but famed lesbian, that's totally normal speech, alright? So finally, as famed lesbian notes, there are now space dash dash among millennials and Gen Z space dash dash more people identifying as trans than lesbian. She has previously argued that masculine girls are now encouraged to identify as trans, causing a decrease in the lesbian population. What?
Unbelievable.
But he goes on. Here's Katie's article exploring whether the disappearance of lesbian culture is due to the encouragement which masculine girls receive from the society, therapists, healthcare workers, etc. to identify as trans, not as lesbian women. What the fuck? Right, and then he goes on, clearly the massive increase in Americans self-identifying as LGBT, an increase due overwhelmingly to more bi and trans self-identifiers. Again, he's saying self-identifier here, which is a big dog whistle for saying, yeah, I don't believe you, but it's whatever you say, buddy. That's kind of what that is. And again, bi is in quotes again. Why is bi in quotes? Like, okay, this motherfucker is gonna say shit like famed lesbian, but then put bi in quotes over and over. It's bizarre, right? It's super bizarre. But I want to remind everyone of an interaction that I had with Glenn Greenwald very recently. This was a little bit ago, I think 2 weeks ago or so. And Glenn Greenwald yelled at me on Twitter in front of his millions of followers, right? And when I pointed out that he went on Joe Rogan's show to attack transgender people, this was his response. This is 2 weeks ago, mind you. I've never attacked trans people in my life. That's an absolute and utter lie. I know I've got, how many followers? Let me see. 1.6 million followers, but some random person on Twitter is bullying me by insinuating I said something I'm documented saying.
Unbelievable.
Right, so this guy's a crybaby loser. And so what's interesting is that, as you can see here, in November, I had some email correspondence with Glenn Greenwald over the subject. I had previously respected Glenn Greenwald's work, and so when I saw him go on Joe Rogan's show to say that, you know, oh, I've got friends their kids are trans and they're afraid that their kids are being morphed by, like, fucking culture, like, whatever. This guy went on Joe Rogan's show to basically peddle conspiracy theories, right? So I emailed him. I said, yo, I'm a big fan of whatever. You want to have a conversation about these issues? Now, Glenn's one of his favorite things, right, is that, where is this? He just says, like, you know, we need to have this conversation, right? I only want to, these things should be open to debate, he says. Open to debate, he says. Right, but when actually challenged on these things, right, he said he would be willing to have a conversation, and then he stopped responding. Interesting. And then 2 weeks ago, I reminded him of this correspondence, and he didn't respond. Right, and then 2 weeks later, he's doing this dumb bullshit going off and off and off on Twitter again about how trans people are usurping lesbians and, like, bi people don't exist. And it's like, again, if this guy, right, as he says, self-identified, everything should be open to debate. These things should be open to debate, he says. Unless you disagree with me. He will only debate people that he agrees with. Because he's a fucking baby. He's a crybaby, loser, bitch boy, motherfucking idiot That's his problem. Yes, he has done tremendous journalism. Yes, he has uncovered a very, very large amount of really important stories. But that is no excuse. That does not redeem you when you go on Twitter all day, every day, talking about how trans people are icky and bi people don't exist. I'm sorry. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either these things are open to debate, or you're a fucking crybaby snowflake who's afraid to talk to people who disagree with you. Those are the only options here, buddy. You gotta pick one. So, Glenn Greenwald's having a normal one.
Unbelievable.
God, what a fucking piece of shit. Ping him again. Maybe I will after the show. Get my secretary. That's correct. I need to have, like, cabinet positions. Like, the secretary of cringe. We'll go after and get Glenn Greenwald. It's so ridiculous. I'm gonna do another Glenn Greenwald segment though. Like, you ready? Because I'm double dipping. We're double dipping. Because, like, I didn't cover this interaction I had with him the other day. Because, you know, but Jesus Christ. But yeah, so I'm double dipping. So let me prepare my double dip. So we have Max the dog here. Hello. Oh. Oh, look at the doggy. Oh. Oh, look at him. Look at this. Oh. Oh. Look at the dog. Look at the dog. See your latest tweet? Are you motherfucking advertising in my show?
Unbelievable.
Oh. Oh. Alright, Max. Oh my god, no. Oh. Oh my god. So we have a classic tweet here. Max, you're stepping in a spot you shouldn't. That's so good. The fucking, like, sweat coming off. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Fuck. Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
You've got a cat on your lap?
Unbelievable.
Oh, alright. Anyway, everyone follow the letter hack on Twitter, folks. It's important. It's a must do. Alright, so, Glenn Greenwald, in between going on Twitter to attack transgender people like a petulant child, he went on Fox News, and he had this to say.
This was a riot in which none of the protesters themselves killed anybody. They themselves were killed. We don't know how Brian Sicknick died.
So Glenn Greenwald, right, I think I covered this a while ago. He was on Twitter talking about how there was no one in the Senate chamber with zip ties, also called flex cuffs. He was saying, and then he backpedaled and said, oh no, he didn't bring them. He just found them off of a police officer and then brought them into the Senate chamber looking for hostages, right? That was his backpedal. So now he is saying that protesters didn't kill anybody. Now, not only is the binary here ridiculous, either you're perfectly healthy or you die, there's no in between. So for example, police officers lost fingers. So, like, I think it was like some 200 police officers had like severe critical injuries. Like someone had their internal organs fail and like get collapsed and like had blood gushing out of their mouths, right? Cops lost fingers, right? And I'm not a cop fan. I'm not here to say I'm a cop fan, right? They also killed each other, Right? So, like, as we here have a New York Times article, here's where 5 people died on the day of. An officer died, right? This one was killed by an officer. This one killed himself, presumably. I believe this was the one that was trampled. So when protesters were trying to storm the Capitol, they had no problem literally stepping on and killing people, right? So Glenn Greenwald's going on this bullshit, right? Talking about how, oh, no one died. They didn't kill anybody. But again, hundreds of cops, right, were brutally injured. Brutally injured. So again, the binary of either you're perfectly healthy and nothing is wrong with you whatsoever, or you're dead, there's no in-between, is just as ridiculous as saying that trans people don't exist. Oh, you're either male or female. There's no in-between, right? It's the same kind of bullshit pseudo-scientific conspiracy theories that Glenn Greenwald is peddling in. Does it not matter when police lose their fingers and have their fucking lungs collapse? That doesn't matter all of a sudden? It doesn't matter when people get trampled to death? It just doesn't matter. They didn't die. Well, I mean, they did die, but I'm just going to go on TV and say they didn't die. Facts and logic. The guy's a fucking idiot. If you're still following Glenn Greenwald for political commentary, you're a fucking dumb-ass fucking shit-for-brained loser. Now, again, you can appreciate and respect some of his, like, you know, investigative journalism for sure. I do. Right? But if you're taking his political commentary seriously in the year 2021, I've got news for you. I've got a lot of news for you, actually. In the words of Glenn Greenwald's favorite president,
only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
It's so dumb. I'm sorry. I'm sick and tired of this fucking guy. Glenn, I've got news for you, buddy. You're canceled. Oof. I can't wait for the fucking crybaby triggered losers to cry in the chat or in the comment section. They always do. Every time I post a Glenn Greenwald video, I get all these like bizarre libertarians that go like, Glenn Greenwald is the most amazing person in the world. And it's like, dude, like, first of all, like, you know, he's not going to go out with you. He's probably not going to respond to your email, right? So, I just don't understand the simping and other, like, it's bizarre. For guys with millions of followers, man, it's just... And reminder, again, Glenn Greenwald said he would have a conversation on my show. He said he would come on my show. He's been dodging me for 4 months. 4 months. 4 months. Come on, Glenn. Where's the conversation? You're so open to debate, Glenn. You just want to debate ideas. You just want to have conversations about ideas. Right, Glenn? Well, he's been dodging my show for 4 months after he said he would come on. Like, it's one thing if you just never say you want to come on. It's another thing if you say, yeah, sure, I'd love to come on, and then just dodge for 4 months. Fucking beta male shit. Anyways, that's Glenn-ass motherfucking Glenn. Greasy Glenn. Greasy Glenn. Yo, greasy fucking Glenn. That is so good. Greasy fucking... Oh, that is amazing. Big scared pussy. That's correct. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? You enjoying today's show? You enjoying the fucking show? Because I am. I'm having a good time. Committing lesbian genocide live on stream, so it's good shit. Alright. So what else should we talk about? I saw this article and I thought that this was baffling, so let's read this. The show is enjoyable. I'm going to turn my heater off because what happens here is that it's really cold in the morning and then it gets really hot in the afternoon, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, what the fuck? Right? So is there news about stimulus? The GME account, Top Damage Wizard, has stonks on the brain. Speaking of stonks, so anyone who gave me Cash App money, which, by the way, you should give me money on Cash App. And also, I just want to say, by the way, as well, a couple people gave me a nice little tidbit of dollary dues yesterday during my moment of despair, and I really do appreciate that. But yeah, so if you want to give me more money for being back, right? That's cool too. But to anyone who gave me money on Cash App, you can buy stonks with Cash App, and I just put it all into AMC. So however much y'all gave me on Cash App, I doubled, because AMC is going up, up, up. So it's pretty cool. And I'm probably going to go buy some dog food for Max, I think, because Max hasn't eaten in a couple days now. He's starving. We haven't been able to afford food, so he's starving. And I just wanted to say thank you to AMC for the hot sauce options. I'm just kidding, obviously. But yeah, if you want to give me money, that would be cool. If you don't, that's also cool. I mean, it's significantly less cool, but it's still cool. When you use the Cash App card, you can get 3% back in Bitcoin. Yep, that's correct. Get out of that early. I already took back my initial investment, so all I've got is funny money in it at this current moment in time. Why give you money if you're going to gamble? Because when I gamble, I win. Like I said, y'all gave me like $80 on Cash App. Now I've got like 100 something. Boom. Max gets a new toy. He gets a bed. Do you not want to feed this dog? Max. I think he's dying on the floor of starvation. Anyway. Anyway, with that out of the way. Alrighty. So I've got this really bizarre story here. I might just read the whole thing. I don't know. It's not that long, but I was reading a little bit of it this morning. No, Max.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Damien. You're better than CBN or CNN? I don't even know what CBN is, but I'm happy you say that. Thank you, thank you. All right. For whatever reason, I got an itchy wrist. All right. I've scratched the itch. Okay, so folks, I saw this extraordinarily bizarre story in my newsfeed. And this story is entitled McDonald's Secretive Intel Team Spies on Fight for 15 Workers, Internal Documents Show. So this came out yesterday. McDonald's collects, quote, strategic intelligence on workers advocating for a $15 minimum wage, including how and where will the fight for $15 attack the brand. And this is from Vice Motherboard. So let's read. For years, McDonald's has internally labeled activists and employees working with the Fight for 15 campaign a security threat and has spied on them, Motherboard has learned. McDonald's says that the work is designed to identify protesters that, quote, could put crew and customer safety at risk. So, wanting a higher minimum wage puts customers at risk? Their safety, no less? Their safety is at risk. So it's not like, oh man, I might have to spend an extra 12 cents on a burger. No, my safety. I just went into that McDonald's and I saw one of the workers talking on text when no one was at the counter. Their phone was on the counter, and I saw them typing about wanting a higher minimum wage, and then like hail burst through the windows, and I got frostbite, or like what? Customer safety is at risk?
Unbelievable.
Like, what kind of scenario would customer safety be at risk? But anyway. The fast food giant's secretive intelligence unit has monitored its own workers' activities with the movement, which seeks to increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour, including by using social media monitoring tools, according to two sources who worked at McDonald's, who had direct knowledge of the surveillance and leaked documents that explained the surveillance strategy and tactics. A team of intelligence analysts in the Chicago and London offices, by the way, I'm pretty sure that they've got a higher minimum wage in London, but anyway, offices keep an eye on the activities of Fight for 15 labor organizers across the world. Figure out which McDonald's workers are active in the movement and who they are working with to organize strikes, protests, or attempt to form unions. Now again, this is something that we need to do a lot more, and like that needs to be a lot more in discourse. Is a lot of people love shitting on the government, right? Fuck the government, fuck Joe Biden, all my homies hate Joe Biden, right? But like at the same time, a lot of people ignore the private corporate sector and all of the extreme crimes and constitutional violations that they are committing just because they are private entities, right? How many of these force the vote people do you think, for example, and how many of these force the vote people do you think go on their fucking shit all the time and talk about how bad corporations are? Not that often. They really just spend all their day attacking the Biden administration and AOC because they don't know what else to do because they're not that smart. And this is something that I try to make like a key point in my shows. When big tech companies like Uber, Lyft, Amazon do shit that's very cringy and bad, you gotta point it out. Because these companies, in a lot of ways, are more powerful than the government, and they have significantly less transparency. So this is why I thought that this would be an important story to tell today. All right, so no, McDonald's workers are currently unionized, but many of them are politically involved with Fight for 15, which has organized fast food worker strikes and protests since 2012 and is affiliated with one of the country's largest unions. To date, McDonald's has refused to bargain with workers who the company says aren't its employees because they work for franchises.
Unbelievable.
The surveillance is particularly notable given the current political battle being fought over a $15 minimum wage, which has been proposed in Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package. An increase in the minimum wage is broadly popular nationally with both Republican and Democratic voters, and 2/3 of Americans supporting raising it to $15. But the proposal has become a sticking point in the stimulus legislation. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, a critical vote in the Senate, has said he does not favor a $15 minimum wage. The federal minimum wage has been stuck at $7.25 an hour for more than 10 years. Specifically, McDonald's was worried about tracking workers who may be involved in activist groups advocating for higher wages, better working conditions, and the right to join unions, such as Fight for $15 campaign, and its financer, the Service Employees International Union, the second largest labor union in the United States. Quote, the idea was to figure out their strategy, counter it, and find out what the key players are and who they know. And I guess we'll find out who this quote is from very soon. According to documents obtained by Motherboard, McDonald's has a goal of collecting, quote, strategic intelligence. Like, these motherfuckers are talking about like they're going to war in like some like fucking like Latin American country. Strategic intelligence. Like, bitch motherfucker, these people flip burgers and like dip fries into a fryer. Like, Seriously, like these aren't like enemy combatants with nuclear weapons or something. Like these are just people trying to feed their families and doing what they need to do to get by. It's ridiculous fucking garbage. Strategic intelligence on, quote, counterparties, as well as, quote, political intelligence on difficult political landscapes and complex markets that could cause significant business disruption and impact returns on investment.
Unbelievable.
One of the stated goals in the intelligence team is to figure out how and where the Fight for 15 attack, where will Fight for 15 attack the brand, according to an internal McDonald's document obtained by Motherboard. Other questions the team was investigating include, quote, what risk scenarios will manifest in 2021 and put pain on McDonald's? And, quote, how is the Fight for 15 executing its 2020 objectives? What new tactics and strategies are not part of the Fight for 15 2020 objectives? Well, whoops. This is just really bizarre stuff. Accidentally clicked the back button on my mouse. So, where were we? Protesters have gathered in parking lots, placed signs on their cars while passing through parking lots and drive-thrus, blocked traffic and parked billboard trucks with Fight for $15 messaging outside McDonald's HQ and restaurant locations, the document reads. There has been little to no notice ahead of the protest events, with strike letters often being sent on the day of the event or even while the event is taking place. The report concludes. It also notes in the list of activity against McDonald's that the ACLU launched an advocacy campaign pressuring McDonald's to provide paid sick leave for all of its employees. Yo, these people are just so fucking pissy and cringy, dude. I literally... Like, the idea that human beings are capable of such cringe? My God. Fight for 15 has successfully lobbied for $15 minimum wage laws in several states, including in Florida, in November's election, where it passed with more than 60% support from voters. Co-founded by and largely made up of McDonald's workers, the campaign has become one of the most recognizable among labor organizing groups in the world. Its activism has helped lead directly to today, where there is a very real chance that Congress passes a $15 federal minimum wage. Two former McDonald's corporate employees who asked to remain anonymous to avoid retaliation from the company described details of the intelligence program against labor unions. The entire thing was messed up, one of the former employees said. A company should be working with employees and the people that drive the business, not building an intelligence program directed at reporting on those same people. Now imagine all the money that they wasted on these fucking like bizarre like fucking CIA-styled intelligence programs. How much like they could have just given to their employees? Like how many dollars do you think was wasted on this stupid bullshit? The entire thing was... I already read that. As part of this program, since at least last year, McDonald's has used its internal analysis and two different pieces of data collection software according to internal strategy documents obtained by Motherboard. McDonald's intelligence analysts have used a social media monitoring tool to collect and scrape data openly available online and to help it monitor social media accounts. The sources told Motherboard that the company's intelligence analysts have attempted to use the tool to reconstruct the friends lists and networks of workers involved in the labor movement using fake Facebook personas. What the fuck? There are people out there being paid to create a fake Facebook account to like, how do you do, fellow burger flippers on like I just... According to two sources with direct knowledge of the efforts, the idea was to figure out their strategy, counter it, and find out where the key players are and who they know, a former McDonald's corporate employee told Motherboard. McDonald's denies this specific aspect of the program. McDonald's has never used fake social media accounts to actively gather information, including labor activity. McDonald's spokesperson Jesse Lewin said, of course they're going to deny it, because if they did do it, highly illegal and also incredibly immoral. This story is laden with false info. I'm not even going to bother reading that. However, Lewin said that McDonald's does have a team, quote, focused on identifying any potential safety threats that could pose harm to our crew. Safety threats! People wanting to be able to feed their children. How dare you! You want to feed your child is hungry, and you work in a food restaurant, and you just want to make enough money to feed your child. How dare you! That hurts me so much. In fact, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I can't breathe. My safety.
Unbelievable.
I just I'm sorry. Do you or did you used to work? Do you or did you used to work at McDonald's? Do you know about the company's surveillance of workers, or do you know anything else about companies spying on their workers? We'd love to hear from you. Using a non-work phone or computer, you can contact Lorenzo Franceschi Bicciarari. I'm so sorry for that. Securely by Signal, and you can, read that. On Wicker or at Lorenzo. Yeah, whatever. You can just read that. I'll put that in the description. I like reading whole articles here, folks. Surveillance of labor movements and organizing is often couched in the language of safety. Here we go. Last year, secret internal documents from Amazon obtained by Motherboard showed that it was surveilling labor movements and environmental groups. Reminder, in Alabama, there's this union trying to form in Amazon warehouses. And Amazon, I shit you not, Amazon literally I don't know if they hacked into or did, they were manipulating traffic lights to, make people late for work. So that if they were late for work, could get reprimanded and cut out of the potential to form a union. You know what I mean? These people are fucking nuts,
Unbelievable.
It's just, oh my God. The intelligence team's surveillance efforts also included keeping an eye on the public social media accounts, including using Google alerts of prominent labor movement leaders such as David Rolfe, a longtime labor movement activist, Mary Kay Henry, the president of the SEIU, and Rev. William Barber II, the founder of Moral Mondays and the Poor People's Campaign, grassroots movements for racial and economic justice, and a pastor at the Greenleaf Christian Church in Goldsboro, North Carolina. The alerts also included keywords such as wage theft, low pay is not okay, and fissured workplace, according to a document seen by Motherboard. You can read the rest of this article yourself, but you get the point. These people are nutso. They're crazy. Right? They're crazy. They will stop at nothing to scrape as much money as they can. All of these people that are in charge of these decisions, they've got enough money for themselves for the rest of their lives, for their children for the rest of their lives, for their children's children for the rest of their lives, for their children's children's children for the rest of their lives. But it's not enough. It's not enough. They need as much money as they possibly can because they're bloodsuckers and they're leeches. Capitalists do not provide anything. The idea that someone can make money off of other people's labor, I'm sorry, is ridiculous. It's a ludicrous concept, and it should be abolished. Again, I personally believe in a wealth tax. 100% of income earned above $500 million should be taxed. 100%. Not 99.9%, not 90%, 100%. No one should be able to become a billionaire. The simple idea that billionaires are allowed to exist in this economy and in this country and in this world is a crime against humanity even in and of itself. I believe to end world hunger it would only cost anywhere between $20 and $30 billion. Meanwhile, by the way, Elon Musk just made $50 billion in the last year. Again, these people are fucking ludicrous, dude. And if you're a worker or whatever, and you're supporting capitalism, it's the best system we got. I'm sorry. You're a cuck. I'm sorry. You're a fucking loser. You're a loser. You're the same people who say, oh, there's nothing wrong with cops. They're just here to protect us. Fucking losers, dude. Seriously. And you're dragging the rest of us down with you? They petitioned the city to FWA the timing of the traffic lights so that people would have less time to canvass the passing cars. Right? Just sent you a video in the Amazon Union on Discord. Okay. Very good video. All right, let's watch. All right. So in the situation with the Amazon union potentially forming in Alabama, we've got this nice little video that Ilhan Omar is tweeting out, and let's watch.
Amazon is that big fish.
The fight that you are waging is not only going to impact people where you work, it's going to send a message to workers all across this country.
It sort of is a domino effect.
The value for it is not only for you singularly, but for the present, the past, and the future. That's why we need you to vote yes.
Even if you are taking on the richest guy in the country.
Reminder, it was reported that Amazon is offering people thousands of dollars to quit the company so that they cannot vote on this union. Just want to remind everyone.
Even if you are taking on an incredibly powerful corporation.
You deserve the dignity and well-being that a union can help provide, allowing you to care for yourself and those you love.
The 5-day work week, 40-hour work week, the weekends we enjoy,
paid holidays, sick days and vacations, overtime, family and medical leave, military leave, safety standards, and so much more.
All of that is the work of unions.
Workers stand up, stand together.
I do like the music.
And fight, they can win.
When voices have been silenced throughout our history, unions have also been a place to give voice to working families.
All my homies love
unions. If you don't feel dignified, and you're constantly fighting for your humanity to be recognized, you're just a shell of a person. You're not fully existing.
I know it's not easy. I know that Amazon is putting a lot of pressure on you to vote against the union. But I hope that you guys stand together, do the right thing, and tell the world that the workers at Amazon are prepared to move forward and create the first union in Amazon in the United States of America, right there in Alabama.
You carry on the spirit and tradition in Alabama that has fought against so many obstacles. You carry on, you're the continuum of that struggle. It is the right thing to do, it is the just thing to do, and God bless you.
There you go. That's pretty cool stuff. I'm definitely going to try to keep involved in covering the Amazon stuff. So feel free to send me any links you find on that. Because in my estimation, it's pretty important. Now that Biden's president again, and that there's an actual legitimate chance that there could be an increase in the minimum wage and other union protections, as opposed to Republicans who don't care about it whatsoever. They're going to start the corporations are going to start fighting a lot harder to destroy organized labor. They're going to try a lot harder to destroy unions. They're going to try a lot harder to destroy worker morale. They're going to try a lot harder to atomize us so that we cannot talk to each other and form these coalitions. And so it's going to be very, very important to keep track of that shit. How about that landlord story? That's actually, I'll cover that. I thought Joe Biden was a union guy. A union what? I love unions. This is going to be a tough as hell fight, but I'm glad it's one being fought. Yeah, I agree. I'll check that one out tomorrow. Jeffy Jeff. stagger it out a little bit. All right, so this is a bizarre story. So really, like, I just don't even know where to begin. All right, okay, you ready for this? Okay, so in Albany, New York, a landlord tied up, evicted sleeping tenants, dumping them in a cemetery. Albany man faces kidnapping charges. Tenants were bound with zip ties, tape, and pillowcases over their heads. I covered the story real quick before I read. I covered the story a couple, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I covered the story of a landlord setting the entire apartment building on fire because they weren't able to evict tenants due to the moratorium. And, again, landlords, they're bloodsuckers. They're leeches. If you make money sitting on a property, not doing anything, because we all know landlords don't fix the plumbing, they don't fix the leaky faucets, they don't fix the fucking shit in the walls. If you sit on money and just make money doing nothing, I'm sorry, you're a bloodsucker, you're a loser, you're a leech, go get a real job. So, this is from the Times-Union. Albany. An Albany landlord has been charged with kidnapping after allegedly tying up 2 tenants with zip ties and tape, placing pillowcases over their heads, and driving them at gunpoint to a rural cemetery in Columbia County, where he dumped them in the snow before dawn on Sunday, according to law enforcement sources and police records. The landlord, 48-year-old Sean Douglas, allegedly was armed with a firearm throughout the incident and may have received help from 2 other suspects on planet Earth. According to police reports, no other arrests have been reported. The alleged kidnapping unfolded between 1 and 8 a.m. on Sunday. All right. The incident began at the multi-unit Grandview Terrace residence where Douglas and his 2 tenants have resided in the city's South End. Douglas, who police records indicate has been arrested previously for charges ranging from assault to violating an order of protection, has owned the residence since 2006, according to property records. The tenant were a 21-year-old woman and a 32-year-old man. They could not be reached for comment. Douglas had apparently grown frustrated because he had been unable to evict tenants due to the COVID-19 restrictions, law enforcement sources said. The tenants were both sleeping at the time that he is accused of attacking and tying them up. The 32-year-old male tenant was allegedly punched and kicked by Douglas and 2 others before being tied up. Police reports on the incident do not provide any details other than the suspects. After the man and woman were bound, Douglas allegedly loaded them into what they told police was a Dodge Durango with the help of 2 other unidentified suspects. They drove the man and woman to a motel that the victims told police may have been in Colony. I don't know where that is. From there, they were driven to the isolated cemetery in Ghent, a rural town in Columbia County about 35 miles southeast of Albany. Police reports indicate Douglas left them tied up in the snow-covered cemetery and drove away. The woman was able to untie herself and walked to a nearby residence to summon help. By allegedly leaving the pair tied up and abandoning them in the wintry conditions, Douglas did expose the victims to risk of serious physical injury, a police report states. Douglas was arrested Monday afternoon and arraigned on charges of second-degree kidnapping. He was being held at Albany County Jail Tuesday afternoon on $50,000 bond. These people are fucking crazy! Never trust a landlord. I'm telling you this right now. Never trust a landlord. They're not your friend. They're not your buddy. They're not your cool neighbor, bro. Never trust a landlord. Holy shit, money. What the fuck? Oh my god. Also, Anastasia, thank you for the $2.99. It's funny because the last thing before I got that little bizarre strike yesterday that was dealt with, the last thing that I was doing as it happened was responding to you in the chat room. So thank you for the super chat, I want to say. My fucking mouse has a hair on the laser. We're good. Absolutely, Bob. Trump has emboldened a whole slew of people. How does one become a landlord in America? You buy a property and rent it out? My favorite part is just just kidnapping. Wasn't that big of a deal. We just kidnapped them. We're just playing a little hide and seek. All right, folks. I don't have much more to discuss on today's program. Actually, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I probably should have done this earlier, but, you know, whatever. I was trying an expansion of my thoughts as it happened. Yeah, it was bizarre. Certainly bizarre. One secondo. All right. Mistreating. I already talked about that earlier. I'm about to do that, Krista. That's what I've got queued up. I know, Damien, it's quite frankly, it's...
Unbelievable. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene posted this bizarre video of herself harassing Marie Newman, a representative from Illinois, who, by the way, has a trans child. So she has a trans flag outside of her office. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene decided to... It's just...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
So, okay, the thing about this is dumb on multiple levels. So, one, a child transitioning from, I don't know, I don't know what their gender is, to be honest, but let's say a child transitions from male to female or female to male, right? When you say there are two genders, male and female, if you want to post that out of someone's office who's non-binary or something, I would then start to understand the thought process. But the idea that you're going to attack someone for transitioning from one gender to another, right? It's just, that's a little bizarre to me. It doesn't really make any sense, right? And the other thing about this that's really funny is that trust the science is in quotes. Now I want to remind everyone, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the same person that believes in Jewish space lasers. Right? She doesn't believe in climate change. So when it comes to the science, right? When it comes to science, Marjorie Taylor Greene, not an expert, folks. Not an expert. And in the words of our former president...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Again, like, that's the thing, is they're trying so hard to be like these epic, edgy, like, culture war people. And again, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. If someone transitions from one gender to another, unless Marie Newman's child is non-binary, which I'm not sure, I haven't looked that up. But unless they're non-binary, this sign doesn't make any sense. Now let's assume they are non-binary. Let's assume that their gender is male, nor male nor female. That has nothing to do with science. Genders are a completely social concept. That's like saying trust the science. You know, the bottle is half empty. Trust the science. What does that mean? Science has no fucking jurisdiction. That almost hit Max. I'm so sorry, Max. Science has no jurisdiction over whether or not the bottle is half empty or half full. That's called language. That's in the field of language. Right? So again, it doesn't make any sense. But she thought that she was like, look at this. Look at her. Look at that. She's like... Right, now keep in mind, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been kicked off of all of her committees. Right? So this is really the only thing that she can do. This is her only option. Is she can troll around Congress and put up like this is vandalism. As far as I'm concerned, this is vandalism. And again, like, doing this outside of a congressperson's office who has a trans child is just, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just makes no fucking sense. Like, and then of course, like, there are only two genders. They really mean sexes, right? But they don't really mean sexes because there aren't only two sexes. The idea of sex being a binary is fucking dumb. It's a myth, right? There are people that are intersex. There are people that have different sex characteristics than what their chromosomes display. Like, there's so much nuance to this. The idea that you can say that sex is binary, strictly speaking, or that gender is binary, strictly speaking, requires you to be a dumb motherfucking bitch. And again, these people think, these are the same people that don't believe in climate change. And they all of a sudden, the science is the most important thing in the world. It's the science, folks. The science.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Absolutely fucking ridiculous. But what a dullard. Isn't it interesting, by the way, that Glenn Greenwald and Marjorie Taylor Greene did, like, viral transphobia in the same day? Interesting. I did that the other day. Good morning, comrade. What's up, Bodan? Or Bawdan, or whatever the fuck I'm supposed to pronounce your name as. But, yeah, that's pretty much my show for today. I'm gonna end a little bit early. And, because I got some other stuff I want to do today, so. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I appreciate everyone for watching. Again, I was originally, like, I didn't know I was going to be streaming today, because of the YouTube thing, but, apparently that was fixed, so I think we're pretty good to go, at this point. Yeah, so. Let's, look, little question and answer. Does anyone have any questions for me? Anything that they would like to know? Send it to me on Discord, Mr. Freak. Just say it as you like, okay? I'm gonna pronounce it, Bohdan? How about that? Bohdan? Am I hungry? Not particularly. I got a strike yesterday and it got removed in the same day, which I've never had happen before. I've never gotten a strike removed, and given and removed in the same day. So that's pretty cool. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if the woodchucks unionized? Probably a lot of wood. How have I been? Pretty good. I'm sorry, Fox. I'll be, I'll be back tomorrow. How do you moisturize your feet? I don't. Where's Max? Max is on the floor. Maxie! He's not having it. He's taking a nap. What is the average flight speed on a unladen swallow? 6. Your heartfelt plea? I bet, yeah. Of course, that's what I say. Like, anyone that if this ever happens again, the first thing to do is to reply to my tweet on Twitter and at Team YouTube or like YouTube creators or whatever, at them and express without swearing your displeasure. That is the fastest and easiest way to get it done. My feet are naturally moist. I mean, they're not that moist. I get a little callousy. My feet are not the healthiest, but you know. Do I shave my legs when I'm not in a pandemic? Yes. Even if someone were to think that they were being sincere in regards to protecting children, drawing ire toward a person's child in such a nonchalant way is, it's ludicrous and it's indefensible. It's just ridiculous. The fuck is Z50 talking about? Jesus. The fucking chair test. What the fuck? What? What? The chair test? Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Google the chair test, make female. Like that exact, okay. The chair test, make female. So they're just picking up a chair? What? What? Chair test? What? They're just picking up a chair. I feel like this is just a big elaborate scheme to get like people to bend over in the workplace. I'm sorry, man, but like I'm like seeing like talk shows and everything. I feel like this is an elaborate scheme to get women to bend over on public television, so I'm not buying this one. The fucking chair challenge. Oh my God.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Motherfucker. Anyway, folks, what's up, Gonzo? I like that hypothesis. I just... Oh my God. That is my name in Ukrainian. I hear how it's pronounced in Google Translate if you want. Just being horny and tired? I feel it. I mean, though it's 11:30 though, so. Have you been up all night? Christ. My lord. Glenn Greenwald makes all of his friends take the chair test. Oh my. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Unbelievable. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family.
Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain.
I hate the white man. He's of the devil. He was made in a cave in the worst parts of Europe, produced from the lowest forms of humanity. They felt pretty comfortable after day 2.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, kids jumping on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I try to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
I admit to always improving.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Unbelievable.